morning in Western Washington. We are Here we are with another opportunity to choose the solution, to choose to turn our consciousness within this morning. And even if you find this later in the day, I just want to invite you also to take the moment to turn within. This is an extraordinary time with everything going on in the world, and especially here at home. And, it's even a kind of a miracle that the internet worked this morning. It wasn't working all the way up until the last minute when it started to work. So I'm streaming here from Ananda Farm on Camano Island. So you just never know how things are going to work out. But I'd like to start, per usual, with our chant, Shri Ram Jai Ram, victory to God, victory to the light. And as God's play gets ever more strange right now, and more things happen in the world, I think this is our mantra: victory to God, victory to the light in every circumstance, in every aspect of our lives, across the world, across the universe. May we ever chant God's name and see His presence behind every circumstance. So Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Such powerful mantra. Just want to sow that seed again, that amidst all of life's circumstances, when we can keep our own consciousness rooted in that of God, we are protected indeed. We are safe in the cosmic vibration. To not forget that when we get swept up in the worries of the world and in the worries of our own work in the world, we can easily be swept out of that vibration. So just to come back to it as often, as regularly in each moment that we can, to really come back to that place inside of ourselves. And especially now when we're challenged with even maybe going back to the breath so much, let's take the extra moments to go back to the forest and the trees where the fresh air comes from, so that we can breathe the trees. It works. But if you're in your house this morning like I am, the air is still clear enough in our house that I can breathe. And I'd like to just start with a double breath, and always this opportunity to double inhale the strength and vitality of God, and to double exhale and throw out anything that holds me back from realizing that in this moment. I'm going to start now and do a few rounds of this and ask you to join me. Using a complete double exhalation to throw out anything and everything that is not God. All tension, all restlessness, that we can relax and awaken in His presence this morning. Let's go ahead and just start with our full diaphragmatic breathing. Inhaling and filling the entire belly. Completely powerful breaths. And exhaling as we're ready, allowing the belly to travel back in. Inhale. Allowing the breath to pause as it's inspired, and exhale. Partnering the movement of our diaphragm, the physical movement, with that flow of breath coming in and out. And I want to encourage you just to keep breathing at your own natural pace. I could set your pace, but then you're trying to breathe at my pace. And part of our task is to learn how to breathe in our own self. So I'm going to breathe, and you're going to breathe. And when we truly breathe, we find our union with each other, even in that breath. Allowing our breath to expand, to become deeper, more full with every round. And I like to put my hand on my upper belly at the beginning of almost every meditation as I come back to this full diaphragmatic breath. Because it feels really good. And I find that throughout the day, as I get swept up into my duties and presence on the farm and at the markets and with people, I lose track of my breath from time to time, and especially of breathing into the belly, wholly and completely. So these moments when we can return just to the simple diaphragmatic breath are some of my favorite moments indeed. Not rushing, not forcing the breath at all. Just breathing in and filling the belly and expanding that inhale even up into the heart. Widening the ribs. And exhale. Gradually, as we do this more and more, feeling the spine elongate, strengthen, naturally moving into its own asana for meditation, just by harmonizing, by deeply breathing. And if you're still sitting at the screen with opened eyes, I invite you to close them, to rest those eyes. And to uplift the gaze behind the closed eyes. All the while just keeping the breath flowing in and out. And the belly filling up and emptying out. I find that when I really come back to this simple diaphragmatic breath, it's remarkable how quickly the worries can fall away and my own consciousness can go back to its natural state of peace and of joy. This power is, of course, always here, and yet the power of the world is always pulling us in the other direction. But all we ever have is this moment to breathe in, to bask, and to breathe out. I'm going to let both of my hands now rest at the crease in between my legs and my belly, with an upright spine, relaxed shoulders, an open chest. I'd like to just transition straight into our natural breath, Hong Sau practice. And to do so, I'm going to throw the breath out one time with the double inhalation and the double exhalation. Now waiting and allowing the breath to come back in as it feels inspired. Inspiration means actually to breathe in as it breathes in of its own accord, not controlling it, just observing it. Observing the pause in between the breath, and then watching it as it flows back out in the nostrils. Learning to watch the breath. We become able to observe this world, not from a place of turmoil within it, but from a place of peace within ourselves. And this practice directly enables us to develop this skill. Breathing in naturally, without control. Enjoying especially that moment before the exhalation, allowing that pause to last as long as is natural for you. And of course, letting that breath flow out completely. As it is ready. What a remarkably simple and incredible practice for us to become natural people again. And if at any point the thoughts start to race, or you find yourself controlling the breath with the conscious mind, worry not. Just exhale the breath again, allow it to flow out completely, and reset yourself. And watch the breath as it comes back in. Don't force it, just allow it to travel in and out of its own accord. With increasing relaxation and concentration simultaneously, we find it easier and easier to allow the breath to move all on its own, without the need for us to figure it out. As we do this, we can add the ancient Bij mantra, the seed mantra, Hong Sa. Hong is the feeling, the vibration of every inhalation throughout creation. And Sa is the universal exhalation, which permeates the breathing out that happens in all of life. Inhaling Hong, feeling it, that vibration of Hong. And exhaling Sa. Finding gradually that your breath continues to slow down, to become deeper and more expansive throughout the entire body. The mind becomes more still. as the breath becomes more still. And gradually let us watch the breath as it travels up higher into the nasal passage on the inhalation, feeling that travel of Hong as it transitions from the nasal cavity up into the spiritual eye, up to the forehead. The cool prana that flows up through the nostrils and awakens the energy, the awareness at the spiritual eye, the point between the eyebrows. And in this space we rest, in between the breaths, for longer and longer, as is appropriate for each one of us. Not through force or control, only through our own attunement to the natural rhythm of our own breath, each one of us. Om Sa. And let's go ahead and move beyond the breath for at least a few minutes of inward silence, of breathlessness. Let's double inhale and double exhale and throw out the breath one final time. Letting go of the breath awareness entirely and bringing the mind's eye to a calm place of focus at your own spiritual eye. And here, connected with the feelings of your own heart, calling on the divine to reveal thyself. Reveal thyself. Reveal thyself. May we each and all remember to sit in this silence, in this space, with our Heavenly Father and our Divine Mother, every morning, every evening. Have a blessed day. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.